I came back from my trip and I realized that the thing that I'm going to remember most is how fun it was. The memories with my coworkers, the time that I had, and all the things that I really liked about the town I was in. But it also made me think about how we tend to cling to memories and nostalgia and think that things are better than they are. I'm no stranger to this. When I created this song, Cassettes, I literally thought about a time period where cassettes were around and the glitching and the effects and all of the things about a cassette tape that were so cool and something that like my grandpa used to work on as a music producer, and I have this very strong attachment to it, to the point where I put a cassette tape on my body. And I realized that I was clinging to the things of the past that give me nostalgia, the tapes, and it makes me think of my grandfather in a different time. And it doesn't necessarily mean I want to go back to that point, but sometimes I think we confuse the things that we like about the past, the parts of it that gives us nostalgia and remind us of what we liked and the people that we were around and the things that we were doing and the sense of carefree, especially me being a child. And I realized that yes, it's cool to write a song about cassettes and to make it sound retro and vintage, but also I am happy that they made an iPod. I am happy that they made a phone where I can instantly stream music and find the music that I want to enjoy, old and new. I like to listen to 60s music. I like to listen to 70s and 80s music. Something my grandfather played, my family played, and it brings me back to a time that I wasn't even in. And it makes us realize that we tend to glorify the past and give it this pedestal where there are a lot of parts that I know my grandparents and family may not have appreciated about that time that I look at with rose-colored glasses. I was on a trip and just got back, so I'm back in my location. And the thing that I've been thinking about all day is how we tend to glorify the past. And I know I do. But the thing is, I realized that it's not that you shouldn't ever look into the past and pull from it. I don't think that that's what I'm saying. But I think that part of the problem is that people tend to live in the past. I hear a lot of people like, oh, we should go back to the 90s, back to the 80s, back to this time, back to that time. And I think when you look back on stuff, that the nostalgia kind of takes over and gives it like rose-colored glasses in a way. But in the reality of it, it's parts of the past that you like, that you hang on to, because people have bad memories. People have things they don't really like about that time period. There are issues that have happened in the past, and even people yearn for a past they didn't even experience. A lot of people will be like a 2000s kid or a 90s kid, like 80s must have been great, the 70s must have been great. And listening to stories of older people, the things that they tend to talk about are the good memories, but not necessarily that they want to go back. They want to be back to the young, that part. They want to be back to the fun memory. They want to be back to college. They want to play with this device that gives them nostalgia. And we do tend to glorify the past. Now, I think that there's merit in finding things that work for you from the past and using them to move forward. I like to use notebooks. I know we're in a digital era, but I like to write. And that's something from my past that I enjoyed that I can use now to help me focus on the things that I want to do. There might be tech that I really like that streamlines things for when I don't need so much distraction. But to say that I want to be back to the time where a notebook was invented, or back to the time of, which would be a while, by the way, back to the time of the iPod or shuffle or whatever item that I want, I would not be fully serious with myself if I said that. On the drive back, it was something I thought about a lot, and I realized that people tend to cling to the things that they loved about the past, but there's a lot about the past they don't like, and there's a lot that comes with innovation and moving forward in the future that I think gets overlooked in people's rose-colored glasses of the past and that nostalgia, the things that remind them of that time period. And we have to remember that we don't want those things to hold us back, and that they can be tools in us moving forward. I'll see you tomorrow.